We are through the last week prior to the release of Rhythm of War. Hey, are you guys tired of hearing about Rhythm of War yet? You might want to watch out. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike coming at you with another Rhythm of War update. I'm sorry, I mean another weekly update. Yes, guys, we are very, very close to the release of Rhythm of War, so that's going to dominate discussion on the channel probably here for the next couple of weeks. Just want to kind of get that out there before we go. But let's go ahead and talk about the week that was, the week that will be, by starting with what am I reading? Guys, if you've hung around the channel or the Discord at all, you know I finished The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter, which actually came out this Tuesday, so I'm sure a lot of you were probably finishing up by now, because it's not a very long read. If you read the first book, you know it's a real page turner. When I kind of took a little bit longer with it, just because I was kind of trying to drag it out until my review came. I wanted my thoughts to be fresh when I did that review. But yeah, another fun trip through Isihogo, and I recommend that you pick it up if you like the first book. If you were lukewarm in the first book, I don't know, maybe you should watch that review. I finished part 1 of Rhythm of War. Now, if you don't know, Tor.com has been releasing chapters that are from the new book coming up this next Tuesday. And they've been doing like one a week, and they got to chapter 19. And I thought that was a really weird place for them to be stopping, where they were going to get to chapter 19. Well, it turns out, when you get to the end of that one, it says that is the end of part 1. If you read Stormlight books, you know each of the acts is divided into a part, as he puts it. And that was all a part 1. So I finished those, and I am ready for that release. I actually got the notification from the indie bookstore that I ordered it from that they shipped it. So I might be getting it early, unless it's one of those things where they've created their labels, and it notifies you that they've shipped it, even though they haven't dropped it off at the postal carrier yet. That's more than likely, but I have heard other people that the street date has been broken for them. So who knows? Maybe I might get it a day or two early. We shall see. But I am prepared if that is the case. And also, I'm about 2/3 done with Tyrant's Throne, the last Greatcoats book here. I want to finish that up before I start Rhythm of War, so I'm going to try to push through that this weekend in case I do get a nice surprise in the mail here very soon. I want to be kind of ready for that. That leads me into, guys, what am I going to read? Well, I mean, duh, Rhythm of War, right? That's what I'm going to read. But if I can kind of get through Tyrant's Throne here by the end of this weekend, some of you guys have really pushed me to consider speedrunning through Dawn Shard. If you don't know, that's basically Stormlight Archive 3.5. It's kind of takes place between Oathbringer and Rhythm of War. And I had said it was one of those things I was going to do like Edge Dancer, where I just kind of read it later. But a lot of the reviews and stuff I've been hearing about is how many connections there are that will actually, kind of add on to things coming. I'm trying to say anything about what I've read in Rhythm of War, but it'll kind of add on to some of the things that have already been revealed in those preview chapters. And I want to believe this. A lot of times I'll hear like a lot of the guys with the Dresden Files, everybody's like, well, you got to read this short story because it only does this, this, and this, and it makes this much sense. And I went and read them, and I was just like, it didn't really change. It didn't move the needle for me at all. So I'm kind of hoping it is just one of those things where people are just excited. But I don't know, 200 pages. If you know anything about a Brandon Sanderson novella, you can kind of blow through that, in a couple of sittings. That's not really a problem. With me, it's just a time thing. Am I going to have time to do that? We'll see. We'll see. I'm leaving it open. If I have a day or two before the release of the actual book, I might go ahead and try to do that. But yes, Rhythm of War is going to dominate, obviously, what I'm going to be reading for the rest of this month, probably, because it's not a short book. And I'm not planning to speed read it or anything, so I'm going ahead and saying, with the holidays coming up, the kids being out of school, and things like that, I want to go ahead and give myself that little cushion of extra time to finish up Rhythm of War. And we are going to be talking about it. Let's go ahead and talk about this week on the channel. I did my book haul for October. It was really of a different book haul because it was the first time I think that the biggest chunk of stuff I had to show you guys was stuff that you sent to me, which is really awesome. So I want to make sure that I thanked those viewers and patrons who actually felt kind enough to send me stuff. It's really awesome. Obviously, I never expect anything like that. But I obviously I appreciate it. And I want to make sure I gave them individual shout-outs because you guys are just a blessing. I love you to death. And it was very, very cool. Anytime you get to talk about new books, it's fun. But anytime you get to talk about as gifts, it's even better. And so much cool stuff in that video. So much cool conversation that has branched out from that. And again, I love you guys. I can't say that enough. So I want to make sure that I gave that book haul the space that it deserved and the place that it deserved to talk to those viewers who were that kind. I really do appreciate you. I talked about Fires of Vengeance. I did do my review for Fires of Vengeance. And it was the first time I had a real technical problem on the channel for a while. I'd had some audio issues when I was doing some of my Stormlight September stuff, and it was maddening. And I figured it out. But this is the first time since I upgraded this camera that I had a real problem. I think what it was is I was drinking water. See, it was the first time I wasn't drinking coffee. See, you drink coffee, guys. This isn't a problem. I was drinking water out of that like shiny silver goblet that I have. And I think somehow it reflected a light onto the camera, and when I put it down, it never refocused. Completely maddening, you know, especially since that's something that I had for an ARC. So I know that the publisher is probably going to watch that review and be like, yeah, this guy is not very professional. So it was one of those things I didn't have enough time to go back and re-record it, so I just kind of had to roll with it. But I mean, the audio was really good, so there's that. So if you can put up with a blurry mic in that video, I think that you'll find it's just standard review that you've come to know and expect on here. I also talked about not only my Rhythm of War schedule, which I did kind of at the end of last week. That's just a little quick 5-minute video talking about how I plan to cover. I talked about this in the last update, so I'm not going to kind of rehash that. But that was leading into the beginning of the Rhythm of War coverage on the channel, and that's when I released my my wish list on Monday. Not a theories or a speculation kind of video, and it doesn't talk about any of those sample chapters that I had read. It really is just something that I used to do with Wheel of Time and started doing with Dresden Files, was just, you know, in between books, stuff I'd like to see happen. I feel like it's a good gateway to open up conversation with people about what they're hoping to see in the new book, things like that. Always a lot of fun. I've already had several people tell me this is stupid because this happened and this is said wrong. And, you know, it's kind of the thing that I've come to expect from the Sanderson community. You guys are so real good with the red pen, letting me know every time I say something wrong. But hey, I come to expect that. And I actually kind of appreciate it sometimes. Keeps me honest or whatnot. But maybe one day I'll be a good audiobook listener. I doubt it. And I'll learn how to say all these things correctly. But I don't think there's any huge revelations I put in that video that of things that people are like, what are you talking about? That was already answered. At least I don't think so. But yeah, it's always fun to speculate that universe. Such a fun universe, the Stormlight Archive. Besides First Law, is my favorite ongoing fantasy series right now. So this is really like you know, Christmas Eve right now, thinking about what's going to happen this next book. I know there are some reviews out for it already, and they've been kind of middling on it. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't care what anybody else thinks about it. I mean, obviously, this channel is all about opinion, so I think that's great. I've already had people drop on Discord saying like, oh, well, this person said this, and this person said this about it. Oh, gosh, I can't believe this. Hey, read it for yourself and find out. That's what I say. Me, I'm expecting Rhythm of War to be that kind of setup book for the grand finale of, you know, this 5-book arc. So I'm not expecting something crazy, but I do think that while some of those criticisms might be true, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is I do think that maybe people have their expectations so high they're expecting like a flawless book. And as much as I admire and respect the Lord Ruler, I can find problems in all those books. I've talked about it, and I've gotten pushback for it, but I'm not expecting a perfect book by any stretch. Like I've said, Dune, that's my thing, and I find problems in that book. So no book is perfect, and I don't expect Rhythm of War to follow that. You know, and then there's one that wasn't on my channel, but I guessed it on a channel that I really like. If you guys don't know Philip Chase, he runs a booktube channel, which I'll link to, that is really I really appreciate his videos. No nonsense, straight to the topic. He likes to break down themes and things like that in his book. Just very straightforward. He's a professor, so you know he knows his shit. And I've been a fan of his channel. He asked me to come on his channel and talk some First Law with him. Of course, I'm going to say yes to this. I just said that besides Stormlight Archive, First Law is my favorite. Or I'm sorry, even over Stormlight Archive, First Law is my favorite ongoing fantasy series. So I was more than happy to do that. It is a non-spoiler video. It's me, Mark from Slowly Read, and of course Patrick, you guys know from Goodreads, and he has his own booktube channel. I'll link all their channels below, but it was a fun conversation talking with a gentleman about a series that I absolutely admire and what makes it so great. And it's non-spoiler, so it's okay for you guys if you have not read First Law yet, and I would hope that you would, because I encourage everyone to read First Law. I know I say this almost every single time I talk to you guys, but not enough of you are reading First Law. And I'm just going to keep saying that until enough of you do. Let's get on to some of next week's plans. Hey, have you guys heard of Rhythm of War? What I had said in that video where my plans for the channel was I was going to do a spoiler talk for each part in the book. Well, since I've already read part 1, I'm planning to release that on release day. That would be the 17th, on Tuesday. That's the plan. You know, I do have kids, so sometimes these plans fall through. I was kind of looking through some of the notes I jotted down while writing it, and I think, okay, this shouldn't be too hard to put something together. I don't know, but I do think that these spoiler talks are going to be a little more fleshed out than the ones I did for the other books, just because I'm going to be doing them by act instead of by book. So there'll be plenty of room to breathe in those videos. So that should be coming on release day, I hope. Again, don't hold me to that, but if not, it will be sometime next week. And hey, unless you guys have already read the spoiler chapters, then, I mean, you've already read the preview chapters, then you don't got anything to worry about, you know. So it'll be there, you know, when you get there, unless you're one of those people who plans to just like at midnight download the audiobook and just listen straight through. I think it's longer, unless you listen on like 2 times speed or something. I don't think you could finish this in 24 hours, could you? I think it's like 60-hour audiobook or something. I don't know. Again, I don't know how you guys do this. This is nuts. I'll be going back into the multiverse, guys. Talk some more Stephen King. The Into the Multiverse for November is Eyes of the Dragon, a book I feel like has kind of been misunderstood. It was actually my first time reading it. So it'll be for the first time on Into the Multiverse. It'll be something that I have only read once and just read it. It's something I have not reread. So it's a few things to talk about on there, I think, and I can't wait to do it. This is a maybe. As you guys know, we are going to be doing a Malazan read-along on the channel. In fact, I dropped on Twitter, on Instagram, and on the community tab that we were 50 days away, and people that want to jump on, and I encourage them to join the Discord. Well, we had over 100 new signups on the Discord since then. Discord's over 2,100 users now. So it's growing exponentially. I'm very excited that so many people are joining in on this plan to do this read-along for Malazan. And by the way, guys, join the Discord if you haven't. It's been such a great time over there. It is completely free of the drama that you find on like Twitter and Facebook. So I think it's a good, you know, positive place for people to come and discuss more than just books. But, you know, there's people who have just become genuine friends off of there, and that just makes me so happy. So I'm excited that the Discord is growing, and I'm excited that the warband, as I'm calling it, for Malazan has gotten so big. I don't know if it's going to end that big, but it's going to start huge. There's a huge number of people that are joining this read-along. So I plan on doing my why I decided to read Malazan sometime soon, give it a little bit of extra time to breathe, and then I'll probably do a recap of what the schedule is going to be for people who have found the channel since I announced that back before we did Great Coats. So that is the plans for Malazan right now. Nervous excitement, you know, under 50 days now until we get started, and this is just, I feel like I'm prepping for my SAT test or something right now, because it's just how much I'm just like, okay, I want everything out of the way. I want to make sure I got a clear mind. There's no reading funks or anything. I want to make sure everything's clear and have my Excel spreadsheet ready to go for when I dive into Malazan here. So we are very close, and it's exciting. And I can't wait. This is not really a next week plan kind of thing for me. Just somewhere I don't know where to talk about it. Hey, did you guys hear George R. R. Martin said he's still not done with Winds of Winter? This is my surprise face. I mean, really? At this point, George, just stop talking. Because all you do is anger people when you say anything, because all you ever say is, oh, I'm not done. Now he's saying that he's not only is he writing on it, but he's rewriting it. I told you guys he was going to listen to the feedback from the series, and it was going to take even longer now, because he's going to listen to everything that people didn't like, and he's going to go and he's going to rewrite it. So don't hold your breath. Don't have very much TV and movie talk this week. Just kind of one thing I want to kind of talk about here. I showed my kid, my 8-year-old, a movie that I enjoyed as a kid, and right after Return of the Jedi came out in 1983, there was this rush to fill that vacuum, you know, to find out who could latch on to those wings of Return of the Jedi now that Star Wars was finished, and everything was trying to just be a straight rip-off sci-fi. Well, there was this movie called Krull, where they basically took every fantasy novel trope that you've ever read and loved and put it in a movie, but then add like a little bit of a Star Wars twist into it. It's a movie that I think you will watch and you will not be fooled thinking, hey, this doesn't look very 1980s. It looks very much 1980s. I'm actually impressed that the special effects look as good as they do, being this old. But it's one of those movies that it really came out. They were really hyping it up, and it just flopped at the box office. And since then, it has achieved cult status. To me, the barometer on this is I'm going to show it to my kid because he's just a little older than I was the first time I watched it, and he loved it. So to me, that says it has aged really, really well. Yeah, again, like I said, you can't watch it and say it's not from the 1980s. It's definitely from the 80s, but it was a good time as well. I think you can rent it digital on Amazon for like $1.99 or something. So, you got young kids and you just kind of want to see what it's about. I recommend it because I don't know how much is nostalgia there. I can usually say I can separate myself from the nostalgia and say, hey, I like it because of nostalgia, but I can admit it's bad. I've seen worse. More recent movies like that new version of Conan they made in a couple of, how was that, 8-9 years ago now? Yeah, it was worse. Much, much worse. But I enjoy it, and I think every kid my age that saw the movie wanted the glaive because the glaive is awesome. But so many cool things about that. And the soundtrack by James Horner, absolutely slamming. There are a couple of gaming things I want to talk about before I go here. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a game I was very interested in getting. I never listen to gaming reviews because, again, just like book reviews, play it, read it, make up your own mind. I will say, though, I am very surprised at the mixed to middling reviews for Assassin's Creed Valhalla because everything I was hearing from people who had hands-on with it before it was released, it was just super positive. And now it's come out, there's always going to be bugs that first week. I mean, Ubisoft is always going to have bugs, and that first update they have is always going to fix some things. I've come to expect that. But just hearing how repetitive and boring the gameplay is and the things that they did like about it. I loved Odyssey. I don't have any problems with Odyssey. But the problems they said they have with Odyssey, it sounds like they repeated those same problems. So to me, this sounds like it's still going to be a good thing. I'm very upset about the combat apparently just feeling like a chore. That sounds like a big bummer. But to me, it's about being immersed in that, that Viking world that I would like to get into. So I still plan to play it. Here's the thing. I didn't want to get any new games with Rhythm of War coming out because I want to make sure that was the priority. That's why I was glad that Cyberpunk got delayed. Oh, just wait, that's coming. But I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. It's my replay. I played it on PS4 the first time, playing it on PC this time. Having a great time replaying that game. So I think that will hold me over until, maybe Christmas. They might have a nice little sale on Steam or something like that, and I might go ahead and pick up Valhalla then. But I'll just say I was rather surprised because everything I've been hearing was that it was like one of the best Assassin's Creed games ever made, and now it's just like it doesn't even sound like it was as good as Odyssey, which is kind of a bummer. So who knows? Who knows? Remains to be seen. If you played it, drop in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let's talk about Cyberpunk for a minute. I talked about, I think the last week or the week before, about how, they were grandstanding about how they'd gone gold and no more delays and it was crunch time and all that stuff. And then they delayed the game for 3 weeks. And it was like, okay, but what's going on? What can you really do in 3 weeks, right? I've always maintained the stance that just release it when it's ready. Don't put a release date on it. Just when it's ready, let it out. This is what happens when you keep doing that. Well, here's the thing. On Twitter, apparently, on their bio, they had the new release date, and they removed it the other day. And they've gone radio silence, and everyone is speculating that this game is dropping into like March of next year. And again, I don't care. I got plenty of things to do to keep myself busy, and I don't want a crappy version of the game put out just because you released a release date. But again, you deserve to be dunked on for the way you were acting like you were just the king of the mountain because your game had gone gold and no more delays, what you kept saying. And then this is good. You're going to delay it twice since then. It's a bad look. Bad look. So I'm still hopeful for the game. But again, hold it until it's ready, guys. That's all I can really say about it. But yeah. Really, really bad luck. So guys, that was my week. What are you doing? What are you playing? What are you listening to? What are you reading? Are you finished up with everything before Rhythm of War starts? Are you planning to read Rhythm of War? Let's talk about these things in the comments. And guys, have yourselves a great, great weekend.